Vamos a ver. Y feliz lunes, feliz
Luis
lunes
Lunes.
y bienvenidos, bienvenidas, welcome. Espero que ustedes estén bien. I hope you guys are well. Um, Como siempre, like always, como siempre, vamos a practicar. We're going to practice with both structures of the verbs that don't do all the yo, nosotros, tu forms and the ones that do. We're gonna mix it up with some listening, some practicing from your homework from last week, and then blending in some regular verbs for some real basic sentence building, and hopefully we'll get to the point where we can use some of our photo prompts for you to use some verbs. Ok, vamos a empezar con la tarea de la semana pasada. We're going to start with our video homework from last week. La tarea, homework, sí, la tarea de la semana pasada. Y fue un video. Voy a poner la foto del video, sí. Fue el video con Andrea la mexicana y fue un tour, fue un recorrido. Se dice tour y recorrido, tour. Hay dos palabras. Ok. Entonces, Andrea, el video de Andrea tiene un tour del hotel porque ella tomó o ella fue de vacaciones con su familia y la familia fue a, a un hotel que está cerca del mar, ¿sí? Y entonces, bueno, ella nos muestra, she to us shows, the to us part of the nos muestra el hotel, los lugares del hotel, de la playa, una descripción de la playa, de la arena, de los árboles en la playa y ella nos habla, to us she talks, nos habla de los lugares en el hotel, ¿sí? La piscina, la alberca, los cuartos de las habitaciones, rooms, ¿sí? En el hotel y todo eso. Ok. ah, ¿Tienen ustedes alguna pregunta? Do you guys have any kind of question? ¿Tienen ustedes alguna pregunta del video del hotel? Un término, una estructura, algo.
No.
¿No? Fácil de entender. Easy to understand?
Okay. Yes.
Bien, bien.
Sí.
Excelente. And do notice sometimes, even though in most books they will teach you the word piscina for pool. Yeah. Alberca is a different word, also means pool. It is a little more favored for folks from Mexico, but not all places use alberca. Some use piscina, some use alberca. They both mean pool or you go swimming, ¿sí? En lugar de nadar, que no es mar. That's not a sea or an ocean. Tiene agua, has water, pero no es el mar. Ok, a ver. Entonces, adelante. Un repaso breve. We're going to start with a brief review first. We're going to start off with our homework, which was using some of these backward structures. Some like sites that teach Spanish call them backward structures. And what it means is that we've got some things reversed in this idea of word order or sentence structure, right? And some places, instead of calling them, some websites, instead of calling them backward structures, call them just verbs like gustar. Because most people learn this thing about how gustar works because it is so unusual and because it is so common in us speaking about our preferences. Everybody learns how to use gustar, right? That we don't. So these are verbs that we don't conjugate for the yo to talk about I'm doing something, or tú to talk about you're doing something, or nosotros, right? The only two conjugations you get are third person, meaning they're going to be a onesie, a singular verb, or a plural verb. Okay. And here comes the backwards part. The thing we're talking about often trails way at the end of a sentence. So it's word structure, it's sentence structure, it's doing things that you're not comfortable with, right? And gustar happens because gustar, well, really, Spanish doesn't have a verb itself that means the exact same thing as to like. So what they do use instead of, because they don't have like as a verb, is that they use gustar, which means to be pleasing. Okay. And other verbs behave, use the same structures as gustar. So this is what I wanted you to get a little comfortable with before we go back to regular verbs this week. Lots and lots of verbs do this. And in this kind of structure, the little pronoun in front of the gusta or the gustan, right, tells you who likes something. Or if you use encantar, which just magnifies or makes gustar more of a thing, instead of liking something, you love something, right? These little pronouns that are in front of encantar or gustar tell us who likes or who loves something, okay? They don't really tell us who is doing any kind of action. They tell us who is on the receiving end. All right. So again, if you like an activity or you love an activity, then we always use gusta, a singular form of gusta, right? But the pronoun in front tells who likes it. If we talk about a onesie, singular kind of thing, then again, the verb gustar is still singular. Or molestar works on the same model as gustar. So instead of liking something, if you're annoyed by something, the opposite reaction of gustar, we use molesta or molestan, plural. But again, we have the same little pronoun in front of it. It tells who's bugged by something, who's annoyed, yeah. Yeah, bye. Okay, all right. When the thing that is liked or the thing that is annoying or, whichever verb that's like gustar they're using is plural, then we've got to flip to the plural form of that verb. So always third person, but singular or onesie item or plural form of that verb, all right? And these are some of the verbs that are most frequently heard that work like, have a structure like gustar. And the word order is not what you expect because it's not an I, your idea that comes first. It's that little pronoun. Talks about somebody receiving the action of being interested, loving something, something matters or is important to somebody being annoyed, right? The pronoun in front of it tells us who feels that emotional reaction, okay? Bien. We have these examples from last week, and I put the little plural part of the verb with that red N, encantan at the end, right? Beaches in Hawaii is more than one thing. Las playas, it's a general category of places because there are a lot of beaches. Las playas de Hawaii. Me encantan las playas de Hawaii. In English, you would say, I love Hawaiian beaches. In Spanish, what they're really saying is, to me, they're enchanting the beaches of Hawaii. So again, that word order kind of messes with our English thinking brains, yeah? If we are interested in the people at that cafe, we want to be in the middle of those people because we think they look fun or entertaining or, lo que sea, whatever it might be. It's right. The people, those people, they are interesting to us. Nos interesan las personas en el café. Okay, y voy a engrandecer. I'm going to make our homework items bigger. So that we can see. Let's see, and you can mix up any of those verbs on the top because some of you may think these activities are great. And some of you may think, I never do that in a million years. I hate it. And you can use whatever reaction you have. Okay. Now, I do want you to notice one thing. If we talk about dormir, doing something, whether you love it, hate it, you're curious and you're interested in trying it, right? Or if it fascinates you or whatever, right? Dormir is considered as an activity a onesie singular kind of thing, whereas tents, tiendas de campaña, are plural things. Okay. And because I've got share on now, I cannot see your faces. So if you're raising your hand, I won't see you raise your hand right now because I have the share on with the picture. So interrúmpanme, interrupt me, please, por favor. Sí, bien. Who would like to talk about how they feel about sleeping in a tent? Or you could talk about how your partner feels about sleeping in a tent, or how your kids feel about sleeping in a tent. You can talk about anybody.
Sam,
Okay, vale, Sam. Empieza, por favor. Begin, please.
me molesta dormir en una tienda de campaña.
Me molesta.
Yes,
Me
it
molesta.
annoys me.
Let's plug that in. Not a fan. Me
Not a fan, no.
molesta. Me molesta dormir. Me molesta dormir en una tienda de campaña. Ajá. Sí. Perfecto.
Perfecto.
And what he's bothered by, yes, it is the tense. You know what? If I took dormir out, me molesta la tienda, right? I'm bothered by a tent. But, more specifically, you're really bothered by sleeping in the tent.
True.
Me molesta, perfecto. Me molesta. We cannot make it molestan here because dormir is considered a onesie kind of thing. Me molesta dormir. What else could you say if you don't find it an annoyance?
Me fascinar dormir en la tienda de campa.
Okay, sí. Bien. Okay. También, let's say, you know what? Sometimes kids are excited about sleeping in a tent, yeah? Even if it's in their backyard. Kids love it. What if I want to talk about kids? And I don't want to say that they're annoyed by it because little kids tend to, think that's great stuff. To talk about the little kids, let's say they love it. Let's use encanta for that one. Okay.
Okay.
If I talk about little kids loving it, do I need to use me, he, le, nos, or les? Which little pronoun would I
It's-
use?
Mace.
Les, because the
Hey.
people who love it, that is what that little pronoun that refers back to the people who love it needs to lead off the sentence. Les. And what do I do with the encantar to say they love sleeping in a tent?
Put an A in. Encantan?
Now,
No, maybe not.
encantan, remember, has to talk about, or encantar has to talk about the thing that is loved, not who loves it.
Oh.
So see, often we think they love, and then we automatically think, oh, they is more than one person. But what's the thing that they love?
Sleeping in the tent.
It's
Dormir in a
Sleeping.
is dormir en la tienda. And is dormir en la tienda a onesie kind of concept or a bunch of things kind of concept?
One.
It's a
One-
onesie. So
one by-
I can't use encantan, even though they is what I'm talking about. See where we're going with that? See?
Mhm.
So what do I do with encantar?
Encanta.
Encanta. Perfecto. And see now that reaction of thinking it'll automatically be encantan because it's plural
Mhm.
with they
Mhm.
doesn't, this is not, that encanta conjugation does not go with the person who feels that reaction of loving it or hating it. Yeah, whatever the emotion may be. Les encanta dormir, les encanta dormir en una tienda. Les encanta dormir en una tienda. And you know what? If we don't know that we're talking about kids right away, to start off, what we're going to do is you may often hear a los niños. A los niños les encanta. The a los niños, because les, to say they love, they is sort of vague, faceless group. Right? So if I have no context, but I'm just starting off by saying, I'm going to tell them I'm talking about the kids, I'll probably have a little phrase to define who I mean. That little phrase is forever connected to that pronoun les. And it just tells me, it instead of making it vague, it puts a more concrete face on who I mean by that pronoun les, right? Les could mean los estudiantes. Les could mean ustedes. Les could mean los adolescentes, teenagers. Les could mean los padres, the parents. They could refer to many, many groups of people. So to be really specific, you'll often, with this kind of sentence, hear an with a specific name tag, right? That name tag is going to define who we mean by les. Okay, a los niños les
Just out of
encanta.
curiosity, when you use the word niños, I got two questions. Could you use
Sí.
the word chicos?
Sí, se
Okay.
puede. You can. Chicos,
Okay.
chicos is very general. Chicos, it can be, and para que sepan, so you guys know, la palabra chicos, the word chicos. Chicos means kids. It can also be in a slang sort of way, especially amongst young people. Chicos is often just a way of saying, hey guys. So chicos may not be actually, chicos could be all of you guys.
Right.
Yeah,
Then my second question is
guys.
at what age are they not
Niños
Chicos
anymore?
in Spanish.
Yeah, buena pregunta. Good question. Niños is a little more specific than chicos. Niños you wouldn't use with older kids because they might feel like, please, do you think I'm some little rugrat? You know, a teenager won't like to be called niño.
Niños, no.
Yeah.
Under 10.
Yeah.
In that case, for a teenager, would chicos
Chicos.
would be more appropriate?
Chicos.
I'm asking, not telling guys.
Sí, yeah. You know, normalmente, sí. Oye, chicos. Hey, guys. You know, is fine. Oye, niños, you know, niños, if you see a group of like young kids, let's say 5 years old in the
Mhm.
park, come out, niños. They know you're talking at them because they know they're little. Don't they? Yeah. Those little 5-year-olds and 3-year-olds and maybe 6-year-olds. When do you stop being a niño? I don't know. Somewhere around maybe 6 or 7. You know, it's vague. It's like us, yeah, saying, uh, yeah, children.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
but you don't really look at 15-year-olds and say children.
No.
Right away. It's like you old. Yeah, that's the reaction they're going to get. So, you know, if they're out of Rugrat stage, then they're graduating into Chicos. How's that for a description? See, bien?
Yeah.
Rugrat is niños territory. Okay, a ver, let's take a look now. Okay, a ver, Now, if I switch from dormir en una tienda de campaña, I'm switching from dormir en una tienda de campaña, and I'm switching to something plural. Las tiendas de campaña. Las tiendas de campaña. We can use any of these to can say they're interested in, they're fascinated by it because they love camping, they love, they hate it. Let's talk about switching it from dormir to las tiendas de campaña. You can talk about yourself, you can talk about we, you can talk about any group or singular person or yourself. And I'm back on share mode, so if you're raising your hand, I won't see you. How does the structure change if we switch it to las tiendas?
This is Karen, so I'll try it.
Okay.
Me molestan las tiendas de campaña.
Me molestan las tiendas de campaña. Sí. And las tiendas, and notice that tiendas means stores, but when it's tiendas de campaña, we know that we're talking about tents. Yeah. Bien. Me molestan las tiendas de campaña. And that little N tells us that we're looking at molestan is pairing up with a plural idea, right? And the me
What's up?
does not govern how we change that verb molestan. As this is like in a special category of verbs that aren't like the yo, tú, nosotros. These are not governed by who loves or hates something. Me molestan las tiendas de campaña. ¿Sí? Okay. A ver. Let's make it maybe not so heinous a thing. Instead of saying you hate it, ¿cómo se dice I'm not interested in? I'm not interested in, which means we've got to lead off with a no, because you're not interested. No?
No interesta.
No, right. We're going to use interesar. ¿Cómo se usa? How do we use it? I'm not interested in tense.
No me interesta.
no me interesa. And can we use interesa because it's still going to be las tiendas? Still going to be las tiendas. No me interesa or
Interesan.
no me interesan las tiendas de campaña. Sí, ¿ok? ¿Vale?
Vale.
¿Entienden? ¿Understand?
Really.
¿Sí?
Sí.
¿Cómo funciona? How that works?
Sí.
Bien, bien. Ok. A ver, ¿sí?
The interessant means that they're not interested in tents, sleeping. How do you know that they're talking about sleeping or not? Never mind.
Okay, no, don't say never mind. Just,
Okay.
yeah, let's figure out. What's the question in your mind with this?
Are you just saying that you're not interested in tents or you're not interested in sleeping in tents? Which one?
You're probably saying
Both.
that whole thing, but because we're using tense instead of, okay, so here's how it would be different. If I actually plug in the idea of dormir. Okay. No me interesa dormir
Ujú.
en las tiendas de campaña. No me interesa dormir en las tiendas de campaña. ¿Sí?
Okay.
No me interesa dormir. Right? Once we switch it to dormir, it's a onesie idea. And it's no me interesa. I'm not interested in it. See? Does that answer your question? See?
Yeah, it's more clear. Thank you.
Bien. Magnífico, magnífico. Okay. All right.
We'll go look for that.
Vale. Bueno, let's plug it into this idea of correr en un maratón. Running in a marathon. Wow. Hay que ser una persona muy dedicada para correr en un maratón. You got to be a dedicated person, ¿sí? Correr. How would you say, ¿cómo se dice? And notice we can make these negative too by putting a no just in front of all of that too. So, yeah. Bien. We're going to pick one of these. Encantar, gustar, fascinar, interesar, importar, molestar. Something off that top list. And we're going to use it to talk about correr en un maratón. And you can talk about yourself, talk about us, talk about whomever. Okay, and remember, if you got your hand up, I can't see you. See? Anybody want to use this in a sentence? See? Or let me
Okay.
toss out a possibility here. ¿Cómo se dice? We're not. We're going to make it negative, so I'll help you off. We're going to lead it off with a no. Yeah, because we're going to say we're not. So I'm going to make it a negative idea. We're not interested in running a marathon. Okay. This is not going to happen for us. We're not interested. No.
No,
No me
no nos,
And it won't be a
Interest.
me because it's not me. We're
No.
not interested. No.
no nos
No nos.
interesa
Interesa.
correr
Sí.
en un, I can't see the race.
Maratón. En un maratón. I need to move my boxes a little bit. Moving my boxes a little bit becomes a little more challenging when I've got it on
Yeah.
enlarged screen. En un maratón. Okay. I lost my marathon. Oh, we'll try to get that back. Bien, here we go. No nos interesa correr en un maratón. No nos interesa correr en un maratón. We're not interested in running a marathon. Why isn't this plural? It's talking about we're not interested. It's talking about we're, but what's the thing we don't feel like doing? The thing we don't feel like doing, the thing that we're not going to go watch is
Correr.
correr, and it's considered a onesie kind of thing. All actions are considered a onesie kind of thing. If I took out correr, and I just had el maratón, the marathon, it would still be a onesie thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, it would still be a onesie thing. I'd just be plugging in the noun maratón instead of correr. But both of those, think of actions as it's a onesie thing. Okay. No nos interesa el maratón. No nos interesa el maratón. Bien. Okay.
Bien.
Bueno. All right. Now, what happens when I change it to races? A race, like the competition, see? Carrera. Carrera is a race, whether it's a car race or a foot race or lo que sea, whatever it might be, whatever kind of race it is, whether you're in a vehicle or on foot. Okay, something is going to happen with this verb, whatever I plug in, whether it's gustar, encantar, interesar, whatever, lo que sea, whatever it might be. Something's going to happen. It won't be exactly as interesa if we switch it to a plural idea of carreras, races.
Mhm.
And we're going to talk about long races, see? De larga distancia. Okay. Let's pick a verb off the top. And which idea do you want to connect to it? Annoyed by, you like them, like, maybe you just like to watch them on TV if it's a marathon, say in the Olympics or something like that. Again, anybody?
Yeah. Sam here,
Okay.
muted.
Big. An idea there?
How about no nos interesan en
Okay.
las carreras?
Sí. No nos interesan. Bien, bien. I've got to. No nos interesan las carreras de larga distancia, ¿sí? We're not interested in any long distance running kind of stuff. ¿Sí? And we lost our distancia, but no nos interesan las carreras de larga distancia, ¿sí? Bien,
Sí.
no nos interesan las carreras de larga distancia. Okay?
Marilyn, Sam, I have a question. So if I love it, can I use me encanta?
Sí, but will it be encanta, onesie kind of thing?
Encantan.
Encantan.
Me
It'll be
encanta.
encantan.
Okay.
See? So instead of being a no, we'll take our no out because we're going to make it a positive thing. Nos encantan las carreras de larga distancia. ¿Sí? Bien, nos encantan. We love them. ¿Sí?
Okay.
Vale. Bueno, ok. Adelante. We're going to switch to some different pictures. Okay. Viajes en carro. Viajes en carro con los amigos. Trips in the car with your friends. You might want to say in English a road trip. I can't just translate road and trip in Spanish to say that because road trip well, might not be con amigos, but sí. Muchas veces sí. Los viajes en carro con los amigos. We're going to talk about loving them, liking them, interested in them, they matter to us, or we're annoyed by the whole thing. How do you feel about road trips? And the idea is we're talking about los viajes, more than one here. Los viajes en carro. You can talk about yourself, you can talk about somebody you know, you can talk about anybody.
How about nos encantan los viajes en carro con los amigos?
Nos encantan los viajes. Sí, vale. Now, okay, a ver. I thought we said, wow. Yeah. We don't necessarily make encantan plural but the encantan is not plural because of nos. The encantan is plural because of this, los viajes. ¿Sí? Bien?
Sí.
Mhm.
Okay.
More than one
What's
person.
linked, yeah. What is determining the form of encantan is not the nos. What's determining the form of encantan is los viajes en carro con los amigos. And I'll take our con los amigos out just so that we have more space. Para que tengamos más espacio so that we have more space. Okay, sí, nos encantan los viajes en carro. What if I want to make I'm going to say I'm talking about them, the people in the car. If I'm talking about them, the people in the car, I've got to swap out that pronoun nos. What kind of pronoun will I plug in instead of nos to say they love it?
Les.
Les. Les. Okay. And les is less specific than nos. So if I want to really be more specific and say, oh, these young people, they're not old retired people. These are 20 somethings, yeah? See, we're going to call them young people. And I'm going to stick in a little phrase, a los jóvenes. And jóvenes is better than chicos, because you know what? They're a little bit older than chicos, aren't they?
Mhm.
See. They're young people. They're in their 20s or maybe 30. They're in their 20s. Los jóvenes is just a little more specific about saying, I'm looking at that picture and now I'm telling you who's in that picture. I'm connecting it with this pronoun les. Okay, I'm connecting it to the pronoun les. A los jóvenes les encantan los viajes en carro.
Marilyn,
Sí.
then you could never leave off the les.
You could never leave off the les?
Yeah, like not put that there.
Eso sí, that's correct.
Okay.
Eso es, that's so. You cannot leave off this word les.
Okay.
This word les is something that is a must have. Okay, so en otras palabras, in other words, I really cannot say, a los jóvenes encantan. A los jóvenes encantan. Well, no. Can't do that. I can say just les encantan los viajes en carro. They love it.
Okay.
Okay. The a los jóvenes is just a little more specific. Who I specifically mean by the word they.
Okay.
They is a little bit vague. They could be a bunch of little 5-year-olds. They could be the guys next door. They could be a lot of different kinds of groups. So to make it more specific and put an actual specific face on it, you know, we have an a los jóvenes, right?
Mhm.
Bien.
Sí.
Okay. We cannot leave off this pronoun les. We can leave off the a los jóvenes. We cannot leave out that word les.
Okay.
Yeah. These pronouns always have to pair up with these kinds of verbs. Okay. So, bien. Vale. Now, what if we change it from los viajes en carro? Oh, wait a minute, before we do this, see? Let's change the idea of kids. I'm going to change it to my buddy Jim. A Jaime. A Jaime. Jim. Guy behind the wheel. I'm calling him Jim. A Jaime. What little pronoun do I have to throw in there? It's going to have to be a me or a te or a le or a nos or a les.
Would think lay.
Les.
It's going to be le.
Les.
A Jaime le. And wait a minute. Can this, if I'm talking about Jim, can this still be in Tantan?
Probably not.
Yes, I think.
It can still be in Kantan. Even though Jim likes it or loves it, yeah, even though Jim is the one who loves it, what Encantan is linked up with is
Los
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 viajes.
viajes.
Ay,
Okay, in English, we do not think, nobody in English thinks in the word order of to Jim, him, their enchanting road trips. Nobody thinks like that in English. If you expressed it that way in English, you'd get a very quizzical look from whoever you're talking to. But that's the word order they are thinking in. They're thinking about who gets the feeling, and they name that person with a little extra phrase or just a pronoun, and then they construct that little backwards verb idea because it's that kind of verb. Okay. Look at the difference between that and a verb that isn't one of the backwards kind of verbs. Let's use instead of encantar, manejar. Manejar means to drive. Manejar is not a verb like encantar, gustar, fascinar, interesar, importar, molestar. It's a regular vanilla flavor verb. That means it has to go into the form of talking about yo, tú, él, one guy, nosotros, all of us, or ellos, they. Manejar is not like the special verbs you see in the top title. It's a regular vanilla, plain old conjugate the verb. It has to go into many forms. The many forms tell you who does it. If I want to say Jim is driving, I cannot use that structure you see up on top. I have to lead off with Jaime. And now I need to do something with manejar, which is to do what?
Manejas.
Manejar. Manejar, right, is not a verb like this category you see at the top title bar. Yeah? So you kind of have to get comfortable with an uncomfortable thing. Some verbs, because of word order and structures, some verbs take on the form, take on the conjugation of whoever does the action. Manejar is one of those verbs. But some verbs are in the special category, what we call these backwards verbs, or verbs like gustar, where the verb does not tell who's doing the action. The pronoun tells who feels this emotion that you're talking about with the action. Yeah. So, yeah, this is talking about a feeling that's created, prompted by something. This is a verb that tells who's actually actively doing something. Okay. And there are many more conjugations you have to use with manejar. Manejo, I'm doing it. Manejas, with an S at the end, you're doing it. Maneja, one person, one person is doing it. Manejamos, we're all driving in the car, right? Manejan, with an N at the end, means a group of people. They are doing the driving. So manejar needs many, many more forms than encantar. It needs many more forms, right?
Mhm.
Here, the verb tells the whole story. I could even leave off the Jaime, get rid of it, and just say maneja en el carro, or maneja el carro, maneja el carro. He's driving the car, right? But, okay, bien. Vale, let's see.
Marilyn,
Sí, 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 sí.
just a question. Maybe everybody else understands this, but when you're speaking about a person, or you put the A, but I've noticed that in the second where you used Jamie's driving, you didn't use an A for Jamie. Can you help me understand the A? The
Oh,
use of the
the
A? Yeah,
Okay, bien. And let me show you something
'cause
on
I'm
this.
a
And
little fuzzy on
this is just for me. Cuidado, be careful. If you say A, that's A. That's A. You're
Okay.
thinking
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yes.
Okay, somebody who speaks Spanish, if you say A, they'll think A, A. Okay, but what we really mean is ah. So what you need me to help you understand is why we use an up here. Is that right?
Yes, but not down
Okay.
below.
I want to make sure I'm interpreting your question.
Yeah, that's
Why
correct.
does this need an a? The a literally means two. T-O, not T-W-O, the number. Two.
Okay.
Or not T-O-O as an also. The
Wow.
a literally means two. The whenever you have sentences that have a le, the le generally does not tell who is doing something. It tells who feels the emotion, whoever receives that action of the verb that's being used. Okay. And in this sense, receiving the action, you're receiving the action of encantar, right? But, it could be a different verb. I could say something like, por ejemplo, el papá de Jaime, Jim's dad, el papá de Jaime le da un carro. He's given him a car. Talking about the road trip, yeah, to make his road trip in. Le da. El papá de Jaime le da. And the le is talking about who's on the receiving end of give, not who's giving, who's on the receiving end. So a le is always a one person thing. But if I ever need to define, because le again could mean something is something is happening to him. It could also mean to her. It could also mean the formal you, usted. Because le is kind of faceless, they could be many different potential onesie groups of people. Whenever we need to define who we mean by le, it's always got to be a phrase that starts with a. A with a person's name. A. To him, they're enchanting. And we're just defining who we mean by le when we have the a phrase.
Marilyn, does that come into play because we're using these different verbs?
It comes into play because we're using these different things.
Okay.
Sí, bien. And actually, if I can dig back into my Wayback Machine, I might try to find the actual part of the video that will actually show that, but it goes back to a couple weeks ago. A ver, momentito. While I'm talking about that and trying to do multitasking is like my downfall. Yay. I find it right. Let's show that.
Marilyn is a le in ame le in Canton. Is that is that le talking about ame or
The le is talking about Jaime.
ame?
Right. Sí. Eso es. That is the way that is. Sí, bien, bien. Oh, okay. Vale. Look at that right.
Your
Here
cat.
it is. Oh, okay. I'm going to try to find the right part of the video here because I kind of like to. Okay. Got it. Bien. Let me plug this back in. Pueden verla. Can you see the lady here?
Yes.
Mhm.
See?
Sí.
Okay. Look at this le. This trajo is a past verb, so don't worry about that. Just know that trajo does not mean a yo thing. It's a past. It's because it's past tense. But just know trajo. The only thing you need to know right here for this top sentence is that trajo means brought. Brought. Okay. Transported over and left something in a spot. Brought, and it means he brought or she brought one entity, one animal, one person, one something, brought something. Okay. El gato le trajo un ratón a mi hija. El gato, cat, we know the cat did something. Oh, trajo, he brought. And you just know I'm just telling you it's a past verb so that you know it's a verb. Trajo is a verb. Okay. And it's a not he's doing it right now. It happened maybe an hour ago or yesterday or whenever. Okay. It's done. It's over with. El gato le trajo un ratón. Oh, that ratón tells what he brought. Ratón is a mouse.
To my daughter.
So our structure is who did something? El gato. Now, all of a sudden, and the le is in parentheses just because you know that sometimes you may not hear that said, but often you will. El gato le trajo un ratón a mi hija. The a mi hija, way at the end. Those little phrases, with a name plugged in, they are defining who you mean by the little itty bitty pronoun in front of that verb. So, a mi hija just narrows the le down. Le could mean to her. Le could mean to him. Le could even mean to you, formal, de usted, you. But no, I want to tell you that I'm talking about my daughter. So, le a mi hija, those two are linked, even though they're separated by a bunch of words. A mi hija is just being more precise about who I mean by le. It's clarifying who I mean by le. I don't mean a male person. I don't mean an adult. I don't mean you, formal you, usted. I mean my kid, who happens to be a little girl kid. El gato le trajo un ratón a mi hija. Okay? So one important thing to know, because it messes up our English word order, sentence structure brain. Your brain in English learned to do things in a certain order. But then you hear people speaking in Spanish and suddenly they start throwing out for you things in a different word order. And your brain starts shooting off in the 15 different directions. What the heck are they saying? Okay. El gato, we know the cat's doing something, right? El gato le trajo to her. To her, he brought. El gato le trajo un ratón. We've got subject, el gato. And the le is a little flag saying, uh-oh, somebody's going to receive the action here. And it's only going to be one person. That's what the le is there to do. That's its job, the word le. Not to tell you who does something, but who got the action.
Marilyn, can I
Somebody
ask you a
was brought
question?
something, and then we've got our object, the thing that was brought. Sí, bien.
Marilyn, could you take that sentence and put a mi hija at the beginning?
You could take that amiga and throw it up in the front. You could. Amiga, but it would sound a little bit funny.
Yeah.
Okay, I would probably take out el gato if I did that. Amiga le trajo un ratón, right? Bien. The amiga, the a phrase, which is where we're getting to, the a phrase will usually be at the very, very tail end, or sometimes it will lead off. It will usually lead off when it's something like gustar, these backwards verbs. But see, that le will happen even with the le will happen even with sentences that are not the backwards verbs. Okay, let's look at the second one, because this is more of a verb that you know more. Explico ends in an O. It's a present tense verb, and that means when it ends in an O, it means a yo. I'm doing the action. So explicar means to explain. Yo les explico, and probably the person isn't going to use the word yo. They'll just say, les explico la estructura de las frases a mis alumnos. And notice the a phrase is thrown way out into the end. It's just the caboose. It's being more specific. The a mis alumnos is who we're talking about when we use that pronoun les. Okay? We're saying that it's a bunch of kids sitting in a classroom. Not a bunch of adults, not a bunch of little toddlers. It's a mis alumnos. Okay? A mis alumnos. So these le and les words, they will happen. You will hear them even when it's not one of these structures. You will hear le and les a lot. Le and les start to pop up all the time. Le and les can be used with verbs like gustar, interesar, encantar. They can also be used with a bunch of other verbs. Por ejemplo, for example, you will often hear le used with decir, right? Le dije todo. I told him everything. Le dije todo a Luis. I told Luis everything. Le dije todo. Le dije todo a Luis. I told Luis everything. See, you will hear le with verbs like dar, give. Okay. A mi hija. A mi hija, sí, le doy, I'm giving, doy. A mi hija le doy las llaves del carro. I'm giving my daughter the car keys. So le will pop up a lot. Sometimes that means it's one of these phrases. with verbs that work like gustar, but sometimes it'll be used with the regular vanilla flavor verbs that get all the conjugations for yo, tú, nosotros, él, ellos, all of those. So le pops up in lots and lots of places in terms of word order. But notice the le will always be in front of the verb. Right? Whether it was le in front of a verb that's not like gustar, les in front of a verb that's not like explicar, or excuse me, it'll be used with a regular vanilla kind of verb like here, or you'll also hear les often combined with these kind of verbs here. Okay.
Marilyn, are you saying on that other one where she's talking about the rat and that you have to use the le and les?
It will sound much more natural to use the le. Yeah.
Okay.
So, bien. Voy a decirles. Oh, because I'm talking to you, you can assume I mean you guys with les. Voy a decirles. I'm going to tell you guys. Voy a decirles. Les voy a decir, ¿sí? Bien. This leerles will combine with these kind of special verbs that we're looking at now, but leerles will also combine with lots of verbs like dar, because I give a thing to somebody, like decir, because I tell something to somebody. See? Like, por ejemplo, like explicar, because I explain something to somebody. And you just get a feel for that over time. To say I could give you a list that's all of the times would be impossible to do. You just have to kind of be prepared to roll with the punches with that. So don't pressure yourself. I got to memorize all these, because that's not going to happen. You got to go poco a poco, little by little. See? Bien? Okay. Let's go back to our share. Let's finish up our verbs like gustar. Boom. Ooh. Okay. Let's go back to these. Let's take our vanilla Jaime maneja, which does what you think it should do. It takes Jaime, who's doing it, and conjugation maneja. Let's take it out, because we're focusing right now. We're going to finish up with verbs that are not like manejar, verbs that are kind of in a special category. They tell about somebody having a certain feeling about something. Yeah? Okay. Bien. Instead of saying, a Jaime le encantan los viajes en carro, Jim loves road trips, and viajes en carro is plural, so I've got to pair it with encantan, right? I'm going to say taking a car trip. Tomar. I'm going to throw a verb out. Instead of viajes, a thing that is plural, I'm talking about an activity. Tomar un viaje, taking a trip. En carro just tells what kind of vehicle you're using. That's all. We can use any of these verbs up top to talk about tomar un viaje en carro. But the key is tomar is an action. We're trying to talk about somebody liking that action. And I've got my share screen on, so I'm not able to see you guys. You can talk about how you feel about it, how anybody feels about it. Liking it, loving it, hating it, whatever.
Sam.
Okay, vale, Sam.
Hacer un viaje en coche hasta el cráter de meteoritos es interesante.
That's
Interesante. Sorry.
That's getting a little long.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. Vale. What idea do you want to convey shortly and easily? We want to condense some things.
Taking a trip to Meteor Crater is interesting.
Okay. Let's just take the trip part. Okay.
Okay.
Just so it's easier for people to follow. That's our objective there. Tomar un viaje, taking a trip. Okay. Talk about somebody liking, loving, interested in, being totally annoyed by, whatever. Pick a feeling and pick a person who feels that. And pair it up just with tomar un viaje. You can be talking about junk, you can be talking about whoever feels that action. Whoever feels that feeling.
Me gusta.
Okay, me gusta.
Thank you.
Me gusta. And we're going to make it as just so it's not capitalized. That's all we got to do there. Me gusta tomar un viaje en carro. And now you can add on more information about, like, where that road trip is going to be. Yeah, or lo que sea. But our objective here is just to make it easier, shorter for people to understand so they can see the examples. Me gusta tomar un viaje en carro. And I could add on more information at the end, like me gusta tomar un viaje en carro hacia, towards, or to, al Parque Nacional.
There you go.
Al Gran Cañón.
Oh, good.
Joshua Tree. Me gusta tomar un viaje en carro a la playa. Right? Anything I add on after might be talking about when, might be talking about where, right? You can add on more information. What we want to focus on is this core so that you can shift it around, shimmy it around, and add on different kinds of ideas. How about sí.
So if you place an S on the end of the trip,
S on the end of trip.
then you'd have to.
S on the end of trip doesn't change anything. Let's take our un out because I can't have an S on the end of trip and then have un, which is a singular thing. Me gusta tomar viajes. I like taking trips. Why is it still gusta, a onesie, if I've got an S here? Because the core is not viajes, the core is this.
Okay.
The thing you like is not viajes, it's taking. It's looking at that word tomar. It's taking its cue, it's taking its form from that word tomar. And tomar, even though it's viajes, is a singular kind of thing. All actions are singular ideas. See? Let me show you an example that's like that so you can kind of get an idea. I could also say something like this. Me gusta ver. I like to do what?
See.
See, or watch, okay? In this case, it's going to be what? Me gusta ver películas de acción. I like action pictures. I like doing something. I like seeing, watching. Yeah, I like watching them. So me gusta is still a singular thing because it's linking up with this idea of ver, seeing something, watching something. Okay? It's not really linking up with the word películas, it's linking up with that action of watching. Yeah. I could say, me gusta ver la película nueva Superman. Me gusta ver películas de acción. Me gusta ver películas románticas.
Mm.
Right? The action, what we're linking up to gusta is ver, an activity, right? But if I take out that activity idea and I reduce it to películas, the acción, then it has to be, then it's no longer linked to ver, the action, the activity of doing it. It's linked to the things, which is more than one thing, películas.
Mhm,
¿Sí? ¿Bien? ¿Entiendes? Understand?
mhm.
¿Sí? Bien. Okay. But let's take a look at las clases de ejercicio, exercise classes versus levantar pesas, lifting weights. Two ideas. Okay. Let's say exercise classes don't matter to you. Let's use importar. Importar means to be important. And many times in English, we use the phrase matter to convey that idea. You can say exercise classes are important to me, or exercise classes, they really matter to me because I won't do it by myself. I'll go if it's a class, right? Okay, so we're going to use importar. Importar. I want you to use that one. Okay? You can talk about yourself. You can talk about all of us. You can talk about anybody at all and how they feel about it, whether it's encantar, gustar, fascinar, but I would like you to use importar in this case.
Okay,
Okay, so that we make sure we use that verb as well as an example.
okay. Okay, I'll try it.
Okay,
No,
vale.
no me importan las clases de ejercicio.
Okay, and I'm sorry. Did you use a negative there?
Yes, sí.
Okay,
No me.
no me importan las clases de ejercicio. Yeah, you know what? I kind of don't care very much. Yeah, importar is either say you care about something or you don't, because they matter. See? No me importan las clases de ejercicio. I don't really care about them. They don't matter to me. No me importan las clases de ejercicio. I don't really care about these things. No me importan. And even though me is only one person, importan is not looking at the me, it's looking at this. It's linked up with this. Yeah, because this is not the vanilla kind of verbs that do the tú, yo, tú, nosotros, all of those. This is where these things create a certain feeling, and who they create that feeling for is the little pronoun that's in front. No me importan las clases de ejercicio. Okay, bien. If we didn't care about them very much, what would I change the me pronoun to?
Nos.
Nos. No nos importan las clases de ejercicio. If I wanted to talk about my sister, what would the pronoun become?
Le.
Le. No le importan las clases de ejercicio. And then maybe because I'd say, ooh, le, maybe they didn't pay attention to who I'm talking about. I could slap on a little phrase here. I don't have to, but I could. And I'm going to, what would I slap on? With who? If I want to say with my sister.
Me.
I'm here.
A
Hermana.
mi
Um,
hermana.
Hermoso.
no, no.
No le importan las clases de ejercicio a mi hermana. And that'll be the a mi hermana is kind of the caboose. It's a caboose because it's being more specific. It's saying le is not talking about him, Tom, Dick, or Harry, or usted, you formal. It's talking about my sister, a mi hermana. See? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. See? Yay. Okay. A ver. Let's change this up. We're going to change it up, switch it out. Instead of, we're still going to use importar. I still want to use importar because, you know, when you say something matters or it's important or you care about something, we use importar, right? We're going to talk about, we're switching it from las clases to levantar. And notice it's not weights. It's not the physical dumbbell you see in that lady's hand. It's not just the weights. It's levantar pesas. It's doing this. It's pumping iron. Not the iron, it's the pumping. Bien, see? It's levantar we're focusing on. And let's say, ooh, it really matters. Somebody cares about it. Yeah. Let's say I really care about lifting weights because I want to get rid of my waffle arms. I want to get rid of this jiggle. So you know what? I care about doing this. I care about lifting weights because I'm tired of having the waffle arm. ¿Cómo se dice? It matters to me.
Me gusta. Me gusta.
Well, yeah. If it matters to me, it'll have to be me.
Yeah.
And instead of gusta, we're going to use importar. That thing you see underlined in the top title bar.
Okay. All right.
Me,
Me importan.
and can it be important? We're talking about levantar. We're talking about an action, not the pesas part, but
Okay.
the
Got it.
action.
The action, not the.
Yeah. Me importa levantar pesas. It matters to me lifting weight. I care about. It's how I'm saying. Yeah. Importar means you care about it.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
I care about doing this. It matters to me because I have a goal of getting rid of the waffle arm. Me importa levantar pesas. Me importa levantar. Importa is looking at this action, the pumping.
Levantar.
See? Yeah? It's not looking at pesas, it's looking about the action of lifting. Me importa levantar pesas. Me importa levantar pesas. Let's say it's a bunch of big, chunky guys who are getting ready for a competition. They're Arnold Schwarzenegger guys. They're getting ready for a competition of weightlifting. And they're saying, we care about doing this. ¿Cómo se dice? How do you say that? We care about it.
Les.
We care. It's got to be
Les.
either me, que, le, nos, or les.
Les.
For us, we care about it.
Oh, nos.
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 Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let me put in the top here. Because maybe it will help. Sometimes it's hard. These little words,
You care about
they
lifting weight.
tell who cares about something,
Mhm.
who's interested in something, who is totally annoyed, bothered by something, who loves something, who likes something, who's fascinated by something. Okay? Bien, if it matters to us because we're going to be in a competition, it's nos importa levantar pesas. See? If it's I'm talking about the guys. If I'm talking about a bunch of guys, it's les importa levantar pesas. Les importa. It matters to them. See? Bien. Okay. Vale. Bien. A little better? So we're talking about these because these verbs are there are verbs that follow the pattern of word structure that we're used to. somebody, I, you, he, she, does something. And there are other verbs like these where it throws a wrench in how you think about that word order, right? It does a different word order than what English does. And you have to be prepared for it. You'll hear both kinds of verbs. Some verbs are like gustar, like encantar, and they really look at the thing that somebody loves or the thing that somebody hates. Notice all those verbs talk about an action, or excuse me, a feeling. They're all talking about a feeling that somebody gets about that thing, whether it's an action or an object. See? Yeah. Vanilla type verbs do the traditional conjugations for yo, tú, él, one person, ellos, a bunch of people, right? Nosotros, we. But so you got to be prepared to listen for both kinds of verbs, both kinds of conjugate, because you'll hear them both, right? You'll hear them both. So you have to be a little bit prepared for that. And it's all about word order, okay? I want us to hear a little story, and this is going to be a really simple story. We're going to listen to another simple story for you to hear examples, and then I'm going to give you an assignment for next week. Okay. All right. Here we go. Now, this story is going to mix the two kinds of verbs. It's going to mix the vanilla flavor, meaning, oh, okay, I'm saying that Joe, I do something, you do something, he does something, they do something, and it will mix the other verbs too. I think it's got an example of both kinds. Yeah. And these are going to be very simple stories. They're a little too saccharine, but hey, it does the job.
Then we will answer
Oh, hang on. Let's get straight to the meat. Cut straight to the chase.
2 words.
Daniel tiene 34 años.
Ah, vanilla kind of verb. Daniel tiene 34 años. Dan, we're talking about how old he is.
And it has 34 years.
He has 34 years. But, you know, that's the way they say it in Spanish. They don't say he is a great big. If you say Daniel es 34 años, they think that you're saying Dan is a great big number 37 or 34. And he's not a great big number 34. That right? The way they say he is 34 years old is that he has those years. Okay. This is a vanilla kind of verb. We're talking about Daniel. Tiene is connected to the person who does this. Daniel tiene 34 años.
Vive en una ciudad pequeña en Estados Unidos.
Ah, we're telling where he lives. And it's a vanilla kind of verb. Vive, and I don't need to name Daniel anymore.
Right.
Yeah, okay, so Vive tells me that he does what?
Lives.
He lives, and now I tell information about lives. He lives
A small city.
in a small city. And it could be a small city anywhere in the world, but in this case, it's
United
Yeah.
States.
in the US, en Estados Unidos.
Es profesor de primer grado en una escuela.
Ah, a vanilla kind of verb. Again, I don't name Daniel. I don't have to name him because we know we're talking about him. So I can just omit Daniel and I just use the verb.
Professor.
Yeah, he's a teacher. And what does he teach? Chicos or niños?
Niños.
And
Niños. He's a first grade teacher.
Le gusta mucho su trabajo.
Uh-oh, a not vanilla verb.
Gusta.
Le gusta
He really
mucho.
loves
Le
his
gusta
job.
Yeah, le gusta mucho su trabajo. He, in English, we would say he likes his work very much. The mucho is just the very much, right? But what that really is saying is to him, it is very pleasing. It's pleasing a lot, his work. English would never use that word order, but Spanish does. just because that's how they do it. Because this is not a vanilla kind of verb. His work is pleasing to him, and it really is. So we throw in the mucho to tell how much. Le gusta mucho su trabajo. He likes his work very much, but they don't really have the like verb. That's why they gotta use gusta. I could have said le encanta mucho su trabajo. Le encanta. He loves it. I could say le interesa. He's very
Interesting.
Interested.
Those all are talking about a feeling that is created, and the feeling comes back on whoever feels that. Yeah. Okay. I could say le interesa. I could say le importa mucho su trabajo. Le importa. It matters. Yeah. It's important to it matters. I could throw any of those verbs in there, but this is not your vanilla kind of verb. Okay, let's let it roll.
Cada mañana llega a la escuela a las 7:30.
Oh, okay. And llegar means to arrive or get to. That's usually what we say in
Every
English.
day, every
Cada
morning.
mañana, every morning. And we're still talking about Daniel, so we don't have to name it. Oh, it's a vanilla kind of verb. Daniel does this
Arrive.
action.
School.
He arrives at or he gets to
The
7
school at
7:30.
7:30.
Prepara la clase, toma café y saluda a sus compañeros.
All vanilla kind of verbs. We have to give the form that talks about Daniel. He's a onesie kind of person. So, yeah. Prepara la clase. He
Prepares for class.
prepares the class. Toma café. He
Drinks
Drinks
coffee.
coffee.
drinks some coffee. Saluda a sus compañeras, a sus compañeros. He,
Says hello to his
he greets his
Greets his
colleagues here.
Colleagues,
Colleagues, yeah.
work colleagues.
his colleagues.
Los niños de su clase son pequeños, pero muy listos.
And notice now now we're not talking about Daniel anymore. So now because we're changing who we're talking about, we have to name that person or people. Los niños. Oh, and notice they're not chicos, they're niños.
Mhm.
Primer grado, first grade.
Mhm.
Yeah. The kids in his
Class
class,
Are small.
are young.
they're little. Yeah, they're little, they're young. Listos in this case means inteligentes. They're very,
Smart.
they're smart, they're quick, they're clever.
Daniel canta con ellos.
Now I have to say, I'm not talking about niños anymore. Now I have to plug in Daniel. Daniel canta, la, 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 canta.
Sing
He sings, sí, con
Sing.
ellos, with them.
with them.
Oh, here comes a les. But I don't have an encanta.
They
Uh-oh.
read stories.
He reads.
Les
Mm.
lee. See? Leer is one of your verbs that's on that verb list, which you're going to look more closely at. Leer is this.
He reads.
Reads. And the les tells who he's reading to.
To
Who's
them.
receiving that action of le? Le is a vanilla kind of verb. Le is talking about Daniel. But now I put this little flag in front of le, and I'm telling who he's doing the le to. The les means to all of them. Les le, to them he reads.
What's
Reads.
class?
Les le. And now I'm going to tell what he reads to them. Les le cuentos, stories.
Stories.
Stories. Okay.
See? Y hacen, now I mean, now I'm talking about estudiantes. Now I'm talking niños, because it's a more than one.
And
Hacen dibujos.
Has fun. Has
Hacen dibujos. Momentito.
Drawings.
Hacen dibujos. Hacen dibujos. They make
Pictures.
Pictures.
Oh, picture.
Ah, hacen dibujos.
Dibujos.
Hacen, they make. Hacer can mean to make or to do. Hacen dibujos. Okay, you're going to notice a lot of these verbs on the
Yes.
100
Yes.
words lists. So we're going to let this play
Les
out a little
lee
bit more.
cuentos y hacen dibujos. A veces van al patio a jugar.
Ah, a veces van, and now we're not talking about Daniel, because that's a plural, but we know we have kids in the picture, right? A veces van al patio. Sometimes they go out into the
Yard and play.
Yard and play.
yard. A jugar, to do what?
To play.
Play.
To play.
Daniel siempre tiene una sonrisa.
Ah, Daniel siempre tiene, he always has a
Laugh.
smile.
Smile, laugh.
Ah, bien. Okay.
Sus alumnos lo quieren mucho.
Ah, sus alumnos, his kids, his students, sus alumnos lo quieren mucho. And here querer does not mean want. Here it means love, because little kids love somebody.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And the lo is telling who they love. And who do you think they love? They love only one
Daniel.
person. They love Daniel. They love their teacher. Lo quieren mucho. The querer means when you love somebody, not romantically, but you you love your teacher, you love your friend, you love your neighbor, you love your
I don't know.
yeah, you love somebody in a platonic buddy kind of way. Lo quieren mucho. They love him a lot.
Pero cuando termina el día,
But not when Daniel finishes something, we're talking about dia. Terminar means to finish. But when
The day ends.
the day
day
ends, the day finishes, when the day ends, Daniel feels a certain way. That
Feels-
se is linking up with the siente. He feels a certain way.
By himself.
Alone.
Yeah,
He
alone.
sits down alone.
He feels very alone. Oh, he
Oh,
feels lonely.
feels.
I want you to finish that to see
Yeah.
why he feels
Hmm.
lonely. Daniel, you know what? You don't meet a lot of potential girlfriends or boyfriends in the classroom of niños. So pobre Daniel, poor Dan. It's a little saccharine, but it'll be easy. So I want you to watch that full video, and actually it's going to go through it in phases, so you'll see a repetition of it. Yeah. Watch it and be watching for vanilla kind of, I'm telling who's actually doing it with Joe, who nosotros, right? Versus those vanilla flavor, like, or not vanilla, not vanilla, but the verbs like gustar, right? I want you to notice that. The other thing I want you to focus on, and I'll just show you, is this, the first file you got, and I will resend it. I want you to look at the first group because this was like 100 verbs, and that's a lot. These are the verbs. Oh, and look, you heard hacer with dibujos.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're going to notice a lot of these verbs
Mhm.
are in that. Querer. And here they only list the want, but it can mean love, like in platonic, not romantic platonic. Oh, llegar, you heard that one.
Mhm.
You're going to notice a lot of verbs from that. The first 50 are on that list. And when you come in next week, I will give you a set of some pictures to think about. And I'll show you an easier part of this. I'm going to show you some pictures. I'm not going to tell you to describe everything in the picture, but we're going to talk about some pictures, and I'll give you an example that it will just be an example. And I'll give you an example of a vanilla. We conjugate them all different ways because that's most of the verbs on your list versus a verb like gustar. to talk about
Mhm.
what you see happening, right? And there are no right or wrong answers to those pictures.
Gotcha.
You're just going to pick a verb that makes sense to talk about the pictures. And I'm going to give you, I think, 3 pictures to talk about. And I'll give you an example page to start out. Okay? Bien?
Okay.
All good?
Bien, bien.
Magnifico, magnifico. I would give you another video, but I think I'm not going to give you another video. No, yeah, we don't want to overwhelm you because you've got a
Yeah.
bunch of verbs to look at. You can choose verbs off of that list to talk about the pictures. See? Bien? Okay?
Bien,
Bien.
bien.
But when you
Yeah.
choose a verb, you have to think about most of them are going to be vanilla kind of verbs, right? And once in a while, you can throw in a verb like gustar, to like, which is not a vanilla kind of verb, but then your structure has to be a little different. Okay? Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yes,
Mhm.
sí,
¿Sí? ¿Bien?
sí.
Ok, vale,
Yeah.
muy
Okay.
bien.
Muy bien.
Gracias, gracias, gracias
Hasta
por
luego.
participar. Que tengan buena semana. I hope that you have a really good week. Eso sí.